Right guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one I'm just going to be showing you how to remove your DT Swiss 3-pull Freehub body off of your rim brake wheels if it's stuck on there. So many times people ask, how do I remove it if you can't just pull the Freehub off like you should be able to. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and I'll run through the steps with you. So we have DT Swiss wheel. This happens to be a rim brake wheel with a quick release end caps on it. So with a 3-pull Freehub on this one. So if you want to remove your Freehub for any reason, obviously you want to change it or service it, then the easiest way to do that is, before you do anything else, just slacken off the lock ring of your cassette so as it's just loose like that, so you can move it. So as if it comes off like it should, and what I mean by that is you should be able to just put it on the floor, put your fingers behind it and pull up like that, and it should pop off. And then if it does, what will happen is the Freehub will still be inside your cassette and it'll be off obviously like that, so it'll still be stuck inside it. So then because you've already slackened that lock ring off, then all you do is undo the lock ring and remove your cassette off of there. Obviously it'll be in your hand, so you could just remove, it won't be attached to the wheel, so you haven't got the action of the Freehub working, so you can't undo it. So by slackening that in the first place, then you can just, when it's in your hand, you can just undo that lock ring completely and slide the cassette off the Freehub body, and then you're just left with the Freehub body in your hand. So that's how it should come off. But like I said, sometimes they don't. No matter how hard you pull on it, you won't be able to get it off. And if you look, the end cap there is almost flush with the end of the cassette. So if you've got a vice, what you can do is, and there's another way of getting it off, is just undo the lock ring and take off the cassette. So you just slide your cassette off there, and then obviously doing that, then you'll be able to see more of the end cap sticking out. So as you can put it in a vice, and you can just, with some soft jaws, and just clamp up on that end cap there, and then using the outside of your wheel to pull up on, then you can just pull up on the, so I'll just slide that cassette off of there, so you can easily clamp it in there. And then you just pull up on the wheel rim, so have your wheel in the vice like that, and just grab hold of the other side of the wheel and give it a sharp pull up like that. But if you haven't got a vice and you want to get it off, the easiest way to remove it, like I say, you can't just get hold of that and try and pull it off, it won't come off like that. The same as if you got the cassette on there, it won't move. The easiest way to get that off is to get yourself a punch like that, and then obviously you won't just be able to put it through there because the cap's still on there, but this end cap on the non-drive side, left hand side, sticks out further, so there's more to get hold of than there is on there. So this side you should be able to get hold of that with your hand easy and pull that off with your hand like that. So once you pulled that end cap off, then what you can do with your punch is just put it down through so it rests on the back of the cap on the other side, just going through like that, and then put your wheel off the ground and hold on to it, and then give that a hit on the end of there like that, and then there you have your end cap off, easy as that. Now you couldn't pull that off at all, but one sharp blow with the mallet there and it just comes straight off, easy as that. So once that's off, then you can obviously get your Freehub body off of the axle. Now this comes on to the next issue, that Freehub body should just slide straight off of there without any problems at all. Just get hold of it and just lightly pull it and it should be off in your hand. Easy as that. Now if you look, the end cap's not on there, and that ain't going anywhere, that's just stuck on there. So then the next problem is how to remove it when it's got stuck on the axle, and that's just lack of maintenance why it's stuck on there. Nothing more than that. Lack of grease in the first place inside. It's just got stuck on there because the axle is aluminium and the bearings are steel. So that's all that's happened there, that's why it's got stuck. You can't pull it off. So what I'll do is I'll show you how to get that off of there. So to get the Freehub off, what we've got is we've got a couple of blocks of wood equal heights on the floor. Obviously on the left hand side there the axle sticks down just lower than the hub, so the axle will sit in that groove there, and then the blocks of wood just support the hub. So you sit that in there, just push up your bits of wood so it's touching the axle like that, and then what we need to do is the axle needs to go down, and it only go down so far because obviously the wheel bearing is still in the left hand side, so the wheel bearing is still up in there, but it can come out, as you can see, a little ways before the wheel bearing will hit the piece of wood. So that's just to get it started. So the axle is aluminium, it's to be soft, so don't just go and hit that with a hammer on the end of there, because you could damage it, then you'll need a whole axle. So what you want to find is a bolt like this, just with a washer on it. So as the washer sits over there with the bolt, and the bolt's sticking up higher like that, so you've got something to hit on there to get the axle to go down that way. So you can just sit that on top of there like that, and then you can hit on there. Like that. Just give that a hit, and what you can do if it's not moving, and what you can always do is in the top here is get some penetrating oil and soak that in there. So all you do is get your penetrating oil there and leave that, fill it up there like that, and leave that soaking. So leave that a good 10 minutes just so it soaks down in, and then wipe off the excess oil there, put that back on again, and then try it again. But like I say, leave it soaking. If it's not moving to start with, soak it first and just leave that to soak in. So we left that soak for a little while, and you can soak it more than once if you want to, it's up to you. And then we hit that again. Now say if you're hitting this and it's not having, doesn't seem to be, if you're just hitting on there and it doesn't seem to be having the desired effect, it's not moving, because that will be tight on there. It's not, you're not just going to tap it with a hammer, it's going to come out. If it's seized on there like this one is, then it will take a bit of moving, it's not just going to fall off. So what you can do is get yourself another hammer, so you've got two of them. So if you put one of them on there like that, and obviously don't use two metal hammers, because hitting two metal hammers together, one of them could explode. So always just use mallets to do it with, or a copper hammer. Don't use any steel hammers and hit them together, because like I said, it could they could just explode on you. Just a word of warning. So put one hammer on there like that and hold that in position like that, and then hit the top and then hit that. That way you're getting more shot going through it, because when you're hitting it directly with a hammer, all it's doing is bouncing off. So if you've got 2 mallets, do it like that. It's moved down a little bit now, so it's started to move. If you turn it over the other way, then it will slowly start coming out of this end with the bearing attached to it as well, out of this end. So like I say, if you persevere with it, you'll get it to move eventually. So there you go, we've got the middle of it down flush in there now, as you can see. And then turn it over, you'll see there's the bearing right at the edge there, so it won't come out anymore. Obviously you add your 2 bits of wood there. So to get that to come out any more than that, obviously you can't use 2 bits of wood either side of it like we was doing, because it would interfere with the bearing coming out, and that needs to come out of there, obviously, for it to come out the other opposite side. If you turn it round, you see it's flush there. The axle just moves a bit now, so obviously we freed it off, so it's just moving in and out. On the bearing this side, so it's just pulling like that, but it's still stuck on there, on the axle itself. So we need to get that axle down through further so we can get it off, because there's another bearing in the bottom here. So that's, at least we got it moving initially now. Right, 1, 2, 3. So the next step is we got a big socket there. I'll put that on the block of wood, and then on the non-Freehub side, the left hand side, is that's going to sit over there like that, and over the hub. And what we're going to do is, obviously you don't want to damage your hub, so what you want to do is put a cloth over it like that, push it into the socket, and then sit that down in there. You need something that goes over there, because obviously the bearing's got to come down through there. So you sit that over it like that, as you can see. So now we've got the hub mounted in that socket like that. Then what you need is a 10mm socket, just goes on the end there on the axle. So then we can carry on and hit the axle down through and out into the, so the bearing will come out down the bottom in that socket and allow the axle to go through. Like I said, there's one bearing here and one down in there, so allow it to pass through this top bearing first. So just hold that there like that, and then line it up, obviously with the axle. And then it'll just slowly start to go down. If it's having trouble move it, soak it again with some penetrating fluid, and as it just starts to go in there, the socket will just sit there like that as it just starts to go down inside that bearing. It's just moved quite a way there, it's gone down. Then obviously it's come out and in the socket, so we lift that up. As you can see there, it's gone down in there, the axle. Now if we look at the other end, the bearing, it's come out in the socket there. There's the bearing. So there's no bearing in there now. So what you can do, now you've got now that's come out of there, what you can do, obviously it's got to come past the next bearing, which is down in there, and through the collar in the middle of the 2 bearings in here. There's a collar sleeve, so it's got to come past there. So it's not you can't pull it off yet. So what you need to do again is get your, now you finish with that socket, just get your bit the other piece of wood again and put that as you had it before, like that, making sure obviously there's room enough for the axle to go down towards the floor. So it's no good having too shallow blocks on the floor. You need enough room for the axle to carry on going down out the bottom. So get your socket again like that, just knock it down through. See, the axle's coming out now. I might be able to pull that out. There you go, there's the axle. And so the Freehub should come off now, and there it is. As you can see, it's absolutely full of rust and old grease, hence why it was seized on there. You can see all the corrosion, it's dry in there, and it's still got corrosion down in the metal collar between the two bearings. It's all corroded there, hence why it just wouldn't come off. So there it is there. So you can go ahead and clean up your Freehub, or replace the bearings if need be, and also you can do the wheel bearings. Like I say, I've got various videos if you want to. I'll put a link up on the screen for doing the Freehub bearings in the actual Freehub, and I've got ones on doing the bearings in the actual hub. So I'll put a link to them at the end of the video anyway, if you want to know how to do them. So if you found the video helpful, remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Till next one, ride safe and I'll see you then.